A very good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome to all the Sri Lankan schools and teachers, heads of the departments, and the center heads, to all the early years Cambridge educators. I, Ruchi Tiwari, on behalf of Cambridge University Press and Assessment, welcome you on today's session, which is going to be organized or going to be conducted by our esteemed trainer, Ms. Greshma Momaya. The session is all about Cambridge early years and introduction to the course material. I'm sure many of you've already met our academic advisors and the people who are visiting, who have been visiting to the Sri Lankan schools and conducted a lot of face-to-face sessions also. But this session is greatly going to emphasize on the earliest resources and the agenda around it. Everything is going to be taken care by Ms. Greshma Momaya today. We have our team members from Sri Lanka, Mr. Dhananjay Pandara and Ms. Geeta Kumarajan. I'm sure you all are aware about both of them. And you can always reach out to both of them wherever you have concerns related to the resources, accessibility, and things like that. And there are more things about these resources in terms of how to access this material digitally and all those things. We can talk about it little in the end. Meanwhile, I will hand over this session to Ms. Greshma. Over to you, Greshma.
Thank you, Ms. Ruchi, and good afternoon, everyone. So lovely to see so many educators together on one screen. So, as Ms. Ruchi has already set the tone, we are going to navigate through the introduction to course materials. Can we go on to the next slide, please? So, we have divided this whole session into 5 sections. So, we'll look at introduction, then we'll look at the components overview, key approaches, how to use the resources, and of course, how can you further do your professional development. So let's look at the next slide. So that's about me. I am an educator, principal, and a trainer. I have been in education industry for last 17 years and have trained more than 2,500 teachers across India. Yes, let's go to the next slide. So, like in classrooms, we have rules, right? So that the class the class functions go smoothly. There are certain housekeeping rules that we also need to keep in mind. So, I request everyone to please mute your microphones. In case you have a question to ask, you can always raise your hand and you can unmute your mic and then speak. But otherwise, to avoid any background noise, we would request you to please keep your microphones on mute. There is a chat function accessible to everyone. And there will be a lot of questions and interactions that will happen, which you can use the chat function for. There is pause points where we will pause, we'll reflect, we'll see how much we have learned, what are our takeaways, all of that. So please participate in that pause points. And in case of any technical issues, if you're not able to, because we have checked all the technical part of it, that where my sound is audible to everyone and visible to everyone. In case there is anything not working at your end, you can reach out to your team. Let's go to the next slide. So we need to have a clear agenda of or clear idea of what is going to happen by the end of this session. So by the end of this session, you will have a broad overview of the Cambridge Early Years program. I ensure that you will become more confident in using the books to support early years teaching in your classroom. I will ensure that you become more familiar with setting up the learning environment to support a play-based approach. And of course, you will know how to approach planning for a week using the teacher resources and accompanying materials. And you will also be given idea on where to access further support if you require. And at the end, we will have an opportunity for you to ask questions in case I am not able to cover any of these points. Next slide, please. Great. Next slide. Curriculum overview of early years. So let's begin. And I hope you enjoy the session. So Cambridge Early Years brings together curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment in a coherent approach. So these are the three strong pillars which you will need to ensure that the Cambridge Early Years curriculum is implemented successfully in your course, in your school. So the first one is curriculum. Curriculum is basically the content that you're going to teach, what you are going to teach, the required knowledge, the understanding, and the skills. Second is your pedagogy. Pedagogy is how you are going to teach, the approaches that help teaching and learning to take place in the classroom. And third is assessment, basically, where you track the learner's progress and you understand what the learners have learned. So these three, we need it in alignment to successfully implement Cambridge curriculum. Now, Cambridge Earliers has six curriculum areas, which in a normal language is also called as subjects, right? But Cambridge Earliers you calls it as curriculum areas. So whenever in the training, if I'm saying curriculum areas, you know what I'm talking about. The first one is communication, language, and literacy, which is nothing but English. Second is mathematics. Third is creative expression, which includes art and design, drama, dance. Fourth is physical development. Fifth one is personal, social, and emotional development, the PSED, right? And the last one is understanding the world, which we generally call, EVS or GK. So Cambridge Earlier's curriculum has six curriculum areas. And each curriculum area also has set well-defined learning statements which reflect the developmental milestones for children's learning and development from the ages 3 to 6. Now, these milestones can never be an accurate indicator of what every child can do, because we all know that every child develops in their own pathway, which also shapes their depends on the home environment, the background, and the kind of experiences they have had. But a child's current level of knowledge, understanding, and skills always needs to be considered when planning their next steps. Now, however, although children develop at different rates, there are some milestones which become much difficult for a learner to achieve later in their learning experience. So monitoring them against the learning statements in the curriculum that is given to you will help you optimize each child's progress and ensure that they have the best possible foundation. Next slide, please. And all of these learning statements are given in the comprehensive set. Yes, so the Cambridge Earlier's curriculum starts from EY1, that is 3 to 4 years, EY2, 4 to 5 years, and EY3, 5 to 6 years. So this curriculum provides a comprehensive set of learning statements for all the three stages, very clearly defined in the curriculum. Let's look at the routes to Cambridge Primary. So if you look at the screen, like we mentioned in the previous slide, age 3 to 4, we have EY1. Age 4 to 5, we have EY2. Now, at the ages of 5 to 6, Cambridge gives us two options, EY3 and primary stage 1. Both these options eventually lead to primary stage 2, which is ages 6 to 7. Now, Cambridge understands that schools around the world works very differently. So they have given us these two flexible options for teaching ages 5 to 6. Okay. Now, the content in EY3 or the content in the primary stage 1 is the same. The curriculum remains the same. It's the approach or the pedagogy that is different. For example, In EY3, it is more play based learning where children learn through, fun, imagination, and exploration. And also, EY3 has the 6 curriculum areas that we saw in the previous slide. In primary stage 1, what happens is the pedagogy changes a little bit. It is slightly more structured in comparison to EY3, but still there is more of child-centered learning, there is more of active learning, just like stage 2 of Cambridge primary pathway. And in primary stage 1, they have subjects, just like in primary stage 2. They have English, they have math, they have science. Okay, so I hope I am clear on this slide, and let's move on to the next slide. Yes, so we saw the 3 important coherent approach, right? Curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. What we are looking at now is the assessment. What is our approach? What is the Cambridge approach to measuring progress? Now, let me bring your attention to the right side of the slide where you see the 3 circles, right? Which is discover, do, decide, record, and report. Okay, so Cambridge earlier's curriculums sees that every child is a unique learner, and it uses a continuous assessment rather than traditional test, and it is a very stepwise process that I will take you through now. So it starts with discover, wherein the teacher is basically observing the children, basically how the child is playing, how the child is responding, how is the child solving problems, how is the child expressing emotions, engaging others. Now, all of this is like a discovery where the teacher is discovering about the child. The second aspect is decide. Now, based on the discoveries that you have made, we will decide what the child needs next. So, this stage involves a lot of planning, intentional, personalized next steps. So, for example, if the child is ready to work in groups, or do they need more sensory experience, all of this planning happens in the decide. Now, third step is do. As the name suggests, it means whatever we have planned in the decide stage, we implement it. So you may introduce a new activity or adjust your learning environment little bit, or use scaffold a concept. So basically you will implement what you have planned. And the last thing, which is record and report. Now, documentation becomes very, very essential in early years. So we record whatever we see, and we document a child's progress not through marks or grades, but through learning journals, through photos, drawings, through notes of what the child said or what the child did, and of course sharing this progress with their families. So let me give you an example. For example, you see a child spending a lot of time in building blocks, and then you see that the child has started comparing the heights of different towers, right? And the child is saying, this tower is taller than that tower. Now, what is your discovery here? You will see that the child is developing an understanding of measurement, size comparison, and spatial reasoning, right? So, what happens in the second step when you do the planning? You decide to add, measuring tools to the block area, or you introduce more vocabulary like tall, short, same height. So that's what you are deciding or you are planning. And then of course you implement it. So you can also read a story about a builder, or whom, measure, who uses measurements in this work, and that's how you kind of add on or implement your plan. And finally you take a photo of the child's tower with a note, and where you say that child compared towers using the terms taller, shorter, they used cubes to measure the height, whatever the child has done, and then you report it to the or share it with their families. So that is the whole process of measuring progress. Now, is also the second thing is identifying progress using learning statements. So, Cambridge is giving us the learning statements in our curriculum, which are very clear, age wise developmental goals. These are not exams, but these are developmental goals. So, they help us know if the child is. Sorry, someone is saying that is the mic muted. Yeah, I'll continue. These learning statements help us know if the child is growing well in language or in thinking or physical movement or social and emotional skills. So we do not compare children, but we celebrate each child's journey. So, from the above example that I was giving about towers, you identify that the child is working towards the learning statement, which is uses everyday talk language to talk about size and measurement during the play, right? So that is the learning statement, and you compare the child's progress. The last one is use Cambridge Check together. Now, this is a tool that complements teachers' observation. It provides a very structured way to assess key milestones in a child's development. It is not a test, but it is a supportive checkpoint to understand how children are progressing within the framework. So, this tool is designed by the Cambridge to support and not replace your judgment as a teacher. Let's look at the, and let me take your attention to the right box of listen and observe. So when you look at the teacher resource book, listen and observe is where you will see the assessments. Let's go to the next slide. So this is the pause time where I would like you to add, if you're not able to find the color hearts, what you can do is, if you, for me to answer your query before I move on, you can write R in the chat box. To let me know that this is very new information for you, you can write A, right? And to let me know that this is a great reminder and you will share it with your colleagues, you can write G in the chat box. If you're getting these heart, you can even put hearts, or you can use R, A, and G. Okay, lovely. Let's move ahead and let's go to the next slide.
Wait a minute. We have two hands raised.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Maybe please check with them if they have any questions. Miss Vedanta.
Okay. Yes. Vitana Nirasha. Yes, tell me. You can unmute and ask your question.
Or if it is by mistake, you can lower your hand or I'll do it myself. Right. Okay.
I'll move on.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Let's look at the course components. Now, Cambridge earlier provides you with three important things. First one is the teaching resource. Okay. Second is learner's book. And third one is downloadable activities. Now, let me take you through each of these components in the coming slide. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. What you right now see on your screen is the screenshot of the earlier books. So there are learners book and there is also teaching resources. So teaching resources and learners books are available. They are also included as part of the program and are accessed on Cambridge Go also. So you also have digital access to it. Now, teaching, Shashini, can you please mute your mic? Thank you so much. Okay, so teaching resources are available on print and digital. What you right now see on your screen is EY1 digital resource book, teaching resource book, EY2 teaching resource book, and EY3 teaching resource book. So this is something that you get and you will be using it in your classroom. Let's see how you are going to use it in the next slide. So teaching resources also contain flashcards, stories, songs, song lyrics. It also contains some slideshows and activity sheets. These are teaching activities, projectable stories, all of this that you will get for each of the curriculum area. And you will also get the activity sheets, and all of this can also be downloaded on Cambridge Go. Next slide, please. Yes. So let me show you how the teaching resource looks like and how you're going to navigate it. Okay. So this is an image of a teacher resource book. Now, there are 6 themes, theme based, what we call it as blocks per teacher resource book. So in each teacher resource book there are 6 blocks. Now each of these block represent 5 weeks of teaching, so you have total of 30 weeks in total. Okay, so whether if you are taking EY1 teaching resource or EY2 teaching resource, each of them will have 6 blocks. Okay, now let's look at the left side of the screen where you see a week and ordering numbers. So a week's worth of activities are clearly mentioned in the teacher resource book. Okay. And then let's go to the bottom where you see learning statements, right? I've been telling since the beginning that we give you learning statements that are very clear. Now, this shows the learning being developed in each activity. So you are not just doing the activity, but you are also linking it to the learning statement, and you will know through this activity what learning is happening. Okay. And then let's look at the right side of the screen where you have listen and observe. This is the most important feature that I have also shown you earlier, which offers specific advice for observational assessment for early years. So you will be, you when you do this, you are also assessing and measuring the progress of the children, which is continuous. Yes. Now let's look at this is let's explore. Okay, so the first blue box that you see is continuous provision and guided play. So continuous provision is nothing but what we see in some of the classrooms are the block area, play area, the learning stations or the learning areas that you create. And this is given at the beginning of each week to support our play-based approach. So these they give you suggestions of what materials you can have in your environment. Okay. Next is activity guidance, which gives you prompts, questions, and how to do the activity, which is, and it also encourages child initiated play. And the let's explore strand also supports learning statement. So if you look at the activity my bedroom, it not just talks about my bedroom but also caters to social emotional development and all of that. So this is how you will navigate the teaching resource material. Next slide, please. Now, so after this, what happens is you get homeschool links. So on the left side of the screen, you see editable letters that you can share with the parents. Now, these are letters that you can download. You can also edit as per your school and share it with the parents. This gives an idea basically that what learning is happening in the school, what has your child learned in the school, right? So that gives them a very clear idea. And what you see on the right side is the home link feature in the teacher resource book. So they have some suggestions for homeschool activities that parents can do with their children at home, so that learning just doesn't stop in school but it also continues, it is continuing at home. Yes, let's go to the next slide. Yes. What you right now see is you will see how the long term, medium term, and short term planning support this curriculum gives. So the first image that you see, which says block 1 and all about me, is is the overview of the entire block. What is the key idea, right? Which, and it starts with long term plan. So this gives you a very clear overview of the theme, which is called block, the key ideas, and of course also the broad learning goals for that block. And it will help you understand how the suggested activities that you will see link to the overall development aims of the curriculum. The image in the center is medium term planning, which is your weekly planning table. If you look at it, there are the 6 curriculum areas are mentioned here. And it breaks the theme, the main block into different areas of learning like communication and language, mathematics, understanding the world, right? And each of these cell outlines specific learning activities, relevant learning statements, and also child-led extensions, right? And the last image that you see is curriculum correlation chart. So if you look at it, there is a learning statement given there, and that learning statement, where is it appearing in your block? So the first one is saying that the child is able to say the number names 0 to 10. Okay, and if you see, it is ticked in under block 1 and block 2. So this particular learning statement will be achieved through our block 1 and block 2, right? So this is basically to help you understand how everything is aligned. Next slide, please. Okay. So what we right now saw was how to use the teaching resource and how it is helpful to you. So let me know in the comment by typing either the hearts or, okay, let me look at the question in the chat box. So you mentioned about 30 weeks. That means 30 weeks for full curriculum for EY1 and another 30 for EY2. Yes, that's right. Because each level, EY1, 2, and 3 have individual teacher resource book. Okay, great. So let's, can we go to the previous slide? The previous one? One more slide previous. Yes. So tell me in the comment section if you felt that this is a great reminder and you will share these with colleagues. You understood how to navigate the teaching resources and how it is helpful for you and save your time in planning. And if you felt it is a new information, you can give yellow hearts. Okay, great. Now we first started with teacher resource, the first component, and now the second component is your learner's book. So now let's look at the learner's book. Now, what you see on the screen are the images of the learner's book. So EY1, age 3 to 4, have one learner's book where all the curriculum areas are combined. And then EY2 has mathematics, which you see in orange color, right? Then we have two options in communication and language. One, if it is first language, then it is pink. If you're using English as second language, then you can go for purple. And the last one is Let's Explore, which is the third one, which also includes, so let's explore will include physical development, creative development, personal, social, emotional development, and understanding of the world. 4 curriculum areas are covered in the green one, which is Let's Explore. Okay, and you have the 3 sets for each one of them, 2A, 2B, and 2C. And next slide. Similarly, you have for EY3 as well. Mathematics in orange. If you are opting for communication and language, that is English for second language, then it is purple. If you're opting for English as first language, then it's pink. And let's explore in green. Yes. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I would also like to show you how the learner's book looks like. Now, learner's book is majorly used by our learners, right? And if you look at the images, they are so the visually appealing for our learners, right? So let me take your attention to the left side of the slide where you have a story, you have activity, and then you have some activities again on the right side. And most importantly, at the bottom, if you see, there is note to parents and practitioners, right? So these are certain suggestions and tips that are for parents and for teachers on how you can use this resource better and how you can deliver this lesson better. So that's very important for the teachers to go through it. It's more like guidelines. Someone is asking, phonics, is this in the books? So we have communication and language, which is part of English, and there is phonics here and there, but it's not completely there. And if you have, you can use your own program that you are doing for, if you want very in-depth phonics program. There is in few places in communication and language. Nicola, I hope I have answered your question. Let's go to the next slide. So we now let's look at the mathematics book in our learners. So let's go to the next slide. Now, if you look at this learner's book on the left side, you will see that there are activities that are linked with the blocks and themes which are connected in our teaching resource. So if you see homes and buildings are given here, this will be the same theme given in your teacher's resource book also. And in your teacher resource book, there will be mention of which learner's book page number to be used. So you will have a clarity on when do I need to use this page. And learner's book also activities also support the teaching resource activities and the learning statements. It is all connected. The activities mentioned in the learner's book and also the learning statements. These learner's book also support them. Okay, and then if you see that they are beautiful illustrations, and again there is a practitioner's tip that can be used by teachers to support the child in completing the activity. If any child is finding it little difficult to do the activity, how you as a teacher can support them. Next slide, please. This is one more page from mathematics where you can see 2D shapes, theme, and then there is also farm counting, count and write the numbers. So this is only for you to see the learner's book. Next slide. Let's look at communication and language and see what is there in the learner's book of communication and language. Next slide. So communication and language learner's book contains print version of the stories. Okay, like you are seeing here, there is a story on the screen. And it ranges from international fiction and non-fiction text. Okay, so you will see a lot of text which is international fiction and non-fiction, right? And of course, if you see on the right side, again, there is listen and respond. So the activities are also given here. And there is also for practitioners, again, there are some tips given on how to help students complete the activity. So if you look at it again, the illustrations, I want to bring your attention there because it's very appealing to the learners. And they will be very excited to open the book and see the book. And, it also encourages for them to read it. Next slide. This is also one of our page from learner's book where you see it's a story where there is less of text, there is more images. You see that even numbers are happening through the story, right? So everything is interlinked. Next slide. Now so we saw a mathematics learner's book. We saw a communication and English learner's book. Now let's explore learner's book. Next slide. Shashini, I would request you to please mute your mic. Thank you. Thank you. Now, this is how the Let's Explore learner's book looks like. And what happens here is the themes, the blocks are bringing all the subjects together wherever possible. So for example, when you're doing an activity, there will also be physical development, there will be also creative expression, all of that. So it's not isolated, but it brings these subjects, our curriculum areas together through our themes. Okay. And the best part about Let's Explore is they have, and also our earliers, they have characters, okay, for children, which they will see throughout these learners' book. For example, there is a chimpanzee, there is a butterfly, there is Ruffy the cheetah, There is also a lizard. So the butterfly is named as Mia. So it is very attractive for children to also learn through these characters. Okay. So that is something. Let's go to the bottom of the page, where you will see again in the practitioner's tip, there are model questions that supports practitioners, teachers to further the learning. So there are some questions that you can ask learners when you are using this book. And let's explore contains stickers, which is the most exciting part of this book, where children are doing activities related to stickers. Next slide, please. Now, again, a time to pause, where we saw the learner's book, right? Where we saw how to navigate the learner's book. So, again, our ritual remains the same. Either you give me a green heart if you felt that, oh, this is amazing, and I would love to share this with my colleagues, how the learner's book support teacher's book. Yellow hearts if you felt that this is a new information, and red hearts if you have any queries. This is a time to just pause and reflect of all the things that we have seen. Let me see if anyone has raised their hands. Where can you find the downloadable weekly letter? It is on Cambridge Go. Okay. Happy to see all the green hearts. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes. So right now, till now, we looked at the curriculum aspect, like what are we going to teach? So we saw teacher's book, we saw learner's book, we saw downloadable materials, all of that. So we saw what we are going to teach, right? Now let us look at how we are going to teach, right? The how aspect of it, the pedagogy aspect of it from our three circles, the coherent approach, right? So the first one is holistic approach. Now, Cambridge Earlier's curriculum connects learning across the different areas, like you saw communication and language, math, physical development, creative expression. So children are building their understanding in a more integrated and a meaningful way. So, for example, a single activity might touch upon speaking skills, listening skills, fine motor skills, emotional expression all at once. And that's how this curriculum is more holistic. Second is active learning. So children are not just sitting and listening, right? They are actively doing something, they are exploring, and they are thinking, which keeps them engaged and also encourages them to take ownership of their own learning journey, right? And it makes learning more memorable and fun for them. Active learning is very important. Third is the play based approach. Whether the play is initiated by the child or it is guided by the teacher, it is very key to learning in the early years. So through play, children are experimenting, they are asking questions, they are solving some problems, and they are building relationships. So this approach respects how children naturally learn through play. Fourth one is there is a focus on developing speaking and listening skills. Listening skills, because unless children listen to the right English and the right words, they won't be able to use that, right? So the important element is the listening skill. There are listening audios provided by the Cambridge, where children are listening to it, and then they develop their vocabulary. So communication is at the heart of early development, and we all know. So this curriculum prioritizes on listening, taking turns, expressing ideas, most importantly, and also storytelling, to help children develop confidence, understand others, and also build strong relationships. Next one is a multilingual approach. Many children or many of our learners grow up in homes where more than one language is spoken, and it's not necessary English, right? So this curriculum welcomes and celebrates that multilingualism. It includes strategies and resources to support children learning in English while also valuing their home language. And the last one is a focus on developing self regulation. So, this basically helps children understand and manage their own emotions, um, focus, attention, and make more thoughtful choices, which are essential, life skills that support not only the academic learning but social success and also the well-being. And you will find more detailed guidance and strategies for implementing these approaches in the opening chapters of your teacher resource. It's given in every teacher resource. Let's go to the next slide. Where should you start? Right. Okay. So, can we go to the previous slide? Let's just take in some of your thoughts. What's one thing that you believe, helps set up success in early years, or whatever your thoughts? We have almost finished 1 hour, close to 1 hour. Whatever your thoughts are, you can write it in the chat box. Any thoughts? Or if you don't have any thoughts, you can even answer what's one thing that you believe helps set up success in early years? Anything? You think play, active learning. Good to see an approach to multilingualism. Nice. Great. Thank you, Nicola. Okay, let's move on. So, for today's session, we are going to focus on play based approach. So, let's look at the next slide. The power of play. Let's take a moment to reflect on what play truly means in early years and look at these three powerful quotes on your screen. And each of these quote is from a different perspective: child development, psychology, and science. But they all say the same thing: play is learning. So let's look at the first quote. The impulse to play comes from a natural desire to understand the world. So this quote reminds us that play is instinctive. When children play, they are not wasting time like we think, but they are making sense of their world. Second quote: almost all creativity involves purposeful play. Through play, children take risk, they try new things, and express their thoughts. It's actually the starting point for creativity and innovation. And that's what that quote was by Abraham Maslow. And last is play is the highest form of research. This is one of my favorite quotes. When children play, they are experimenting like little scientists. Now, we have some idea about play. Now, in the chat box, I want you to think and type, what do you think are the benefits of play? From whatever you have heard from this quote, or whatever we little spoke about uh, play, what do you think, or from your experiences, what do you think is the benefit of play? Come on, let's talk. Concentration. Okay, they get opportunities to talk. They also build on their concentration. They're learning new things. Okay, development of their imagination. Yes, imagination. Social skills. Nice. Some more. Move with peers, learning through making mistakes, creative thinking. We should try to understand the need and the readiness of the child to learn, as well as, I guess. So, play based activities are a good start with the intention of focusing on learning facts. Communication skills. They understand different adventures and add new experiences, which will really helpful for them to integrate them in the lessons. Brilliant. Exploration, active, not passive. Brilliant. Thank you for being such an interactive and amazing audience. New innovations. Let's summarize all of what you have told. Let's go to the next slide and summarize. So, play helps in developing social and emotional skills as they learn to share and interact with their classmates, right? Many of you mentioned social skills. It develops communication, cooperation, and problem solving skills. It develops their cognitive skills. Like someone said, they get opportunity to talk, so it improves overall language and literacy development. Example, mark making, labeling, making lists, commenting on pictures in the storybooks, all of that develops their language and literacy. It improves also literacy skills as they learn to communicate and listen more effectively. It improves their word association and how they can be used in different scenarios, right? So it cultivates critical thinking skills. Example, when they are playing with these geometric shapes, it helps children learn basic concepts of size, number, and sequences. And of course, it develops both gross and fine motor skills. So this is what play can create magic for our learners. Now, most of the time I get this question. Let's go to the next slide, where everyone is asking that if children are playing, then what are we doing as adults? So, what is an adult's role in play-based learning? So let's look at the three things that we have. The first one is adult led activities, which means you choose the activity, you choose the goal, you choose the duration, the timing, everything. These are structured plan activities where you are leading the learning. For example, you are adding a counting song or you are doing a guided story session. It is led by you, right? Second is guided play. This is a very sweet spot of play based learning. You set up the environment or a prompt, like blocks near a blueprint or animal figures near a map, and then you join in and you observe. You help children deepen their thinking with questions or little nudges. So you are guiding them, but you are not directing them. You are not asking them to do anything. You are just guiding them. The third is child initiated play. So this is completely led by the child and you are following the child. So they choose what to play, how to play, whom to play with. And your role majorly is to to follow the child, to observe, document learning, and respond whenever needed. So, for example, you can, help extend vocabulary or offer a new material to enrich their play. Okay. So now I will give a scenario and you will type in the chat box whether it is adult led, guided play, or child initiated play. Okay, ready to go? Let's keep the previous slide. So the first one is the teacher sits with a small group and says, today we are going to make patterns with red and yellow beads. So let's start with red, yellow. Now you tell me whether it is adult led, guided play, or child initiated play. You can type your answer in the chat box. Okay. The right answer is adult led because very clear instructions given by the adult, right? What are we doing? How are we doing? Everything. The second example is a group of children are building a house with blocks. The teacher kneels down nearby and says, wow, that looks strong. Where will the door go? Maybe you could use this rectangle block. Yes. So, is it guided play, adult led, or child initiated? Guided play. Correct. The second example is a guided play. The third example is you have a kitchen corner and a child walks over to the kitchen corner, puts an apron and starts cooking something, maybe pasta or something in a pan, talking to an invisible guest. Okay, no teacher is involved. What kind of play is this? Child initiated play. That's right. So, as we can see, your role in play changes depending on the situation. But the key is the learning environment that you are creating. If it's inviting, safe, and rich in materials, children naturally begin to play. And that's where you step in to guide and support learning. Now, next slide will help us understand how we can create this environment. Let's go to the Next slide. Continuous provision areas. Now, these are referred to as, learning areas, learning stations, right? They are well thought resources and learning zones you will set up in your classroom. It could be indoors or it could be outdoors, that a child can access freely throughout the day and year. So if you look at the center image, okay, at the start, the in the teacher resource book, you will see a heading continuous provision and guided play. Now, based on the block that is going on or on the activity that is going on, the in this teacher resource book, they will suggest what are the areas you can have, what are the materials you can have, and how you can create this learning environment that is play based, right? So these areas provide a range of opportunities for free and guided play. For example, a sand area can be used for pouring, which is math, for storytelling, language, and also construction, physical, when they're building something out of sand. It supports children's learning progress through the curriculum's learning statement. Each area should be planned to encourage progress in learning, right? And it is accessible throughout the year. It remains available year round for champion for our learners to evolve as children grow and the theme changes. So this is one of the most amazing part of teachers learning, teachers resource book, where we clearly have list of materials that we can have, and how we can set up our classroom based on the block that is going on. Let's look at the next slide and show you with some examples of continuous provision areas. Some of the images of real classrooms. Okay, free play ideas. And now we want some ideas from all of you. So you are looking at some images on the screen. You can use it as a prompt, or you can type some free play ideas that you have done or you think can be done in the classrooms in the chat box. Please type in the chat box. Some ideas of free play activities. Any thoughts? Kids sometimes do play with their color pencils. Okay, on track. Next. Any more ideas for free play? It could be using nature, leaf, those small branches, and, creating something, building blocks, picking up leaves, play with mud and make mud cake, twigs, puppet shows. Lovely, amazing ideas. Representing the color pencils as dolls, pretend play, right? Art station, collecting twigs. Brilliant. Great. These are some amazing ideas. Pretend play as community helpers, such as doctors, um, firefighters, using vehicles made of cardboard, story corners, pretend play with different roles. Wow. Storytelling with toys that they use, sorting buttons. Brilliant. So we've got some amazing list of free play activities. Let's go on to the next slide. Yes. So here, this is just an image of example of from our EY1 book, our den, where you see that on the left hand side, the list of the list of continuous provision area ideas are given, and on the left side you also see some images of blocks and children playing outdoors, right? So Cambridge also provides certain documents for you to read and understand play based learning and different approaches in depth for you. So you can access that on Cambridge website, getting started with play based learning in early years. You can also scan the QR code, which will take you to those documents. These are some amazing self learning documents that you can use to understand these approaches and play based learning in depth. Great. So we spoke about play based approach, and our ritual remains the same, the rack. So you can either give me green heart, where you saw that yes, we play based learning is possible, and you understood your role and what are some of the ideas, and you would like to share it with your colleagues, give me green hearts. You felt it is a new information, please give me yellow hearts. If you have any queries, you can give me red hearts. Great, that is amazing. Okay, happy to see all the green hearts. Let's go on to the next slide. Planning walkthrough. So now in this section, we will help you understand how you can do the lesson planning using all the resources that are provided by Cambridge earliers. Okay, so let's look at next slide. Zahra has a question. I see a red heart. Zahra, would you like to type in the question or unmute your mic? Sorry, missed it. Was an accident. Okay, no problem. That's okay. Great. So this slide will walk you through a 5-step simple process to help you plan your week effectively using Cambridge Earlier's resources, starting with teaching resource. So one thing that I would like to emphasize on, that we always start with teaching resource. Okay, we will get into the depth of each of the 5 steps that are here. So next slide please. Let me also show you a lesson plan template in the next slide that is there available on Cambridge Go for you to download. It's in editable format, which you can use it in your schools. Next slide. So let us look at the first step of planning process. Step 1, next slide. I think we have to go to the one more slide. Yeah. The first one is to first take teacher's handbook in your hand. First refer to the teacher's resource book, sorry, not handbook, teacher's resource book, and you need to read the introduction. So if you see on the left hand side where block 1 and all about me is written, below that is the introduction. So you need to start by reading the introduction for the week in each subject area, in all the 6 curriculum areas: communication and language, math, and also your let's explore, right? So first you will read the introduction. Step 2, next slide. Next you will see activity mentioned everywhere: activity guidance, activity number 3, number 2. So next you will decide if you are going to use the suggested activities as they are given in teacher resource book, right? Because this will also include downloadable sheets that you can print. You don't have to do everything, but choose what best works for your class. Okay. And step 3, you will notice, next slide. So you decide. Now you will repeat the same for mathematics and again same for let's explore. And if you see here on the screen, each week there will be 3 activities given per subject per week. Okay, so we have 5 working days, Monday to Friday. So there are 3 activities already given for each of the curriculum area. So if it is block 1, there are 3 activities for communication and language, 3 activities for math, and 3 activities for let's explore. Okay, now the other 2 days, right, you can decide how you want to use the other 2 days. Either you can repeat the same activity, you can plan any additional activity based on children's interest. So that's the best part, where you have 3 activities, but you also have some time to repeat or add any additional activity. I hope I'm clear here. So step 4, you will again repeat the same. Step 3, you will again repeat for let's explore. Next slide please. Yeah, so here again, if you see, there are activities given, 3 activities per week. Okay, now once you have finished reading the teacher's resource book, all the 3 curriculum areas: communication and language, math, and let's explore, which is your step 3, right? In step 4, Next slide. You will now look at learner's book and how it can be used. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to add, these are some downloadable materials that also will be given on access on Cambridge Go. And these materials, when to use, how to use, where to use, is mentioned in the teacher's resource book. Okay. And then at the step 4, you look at the learner's book. Yes. And how this learner's book can be used. Will it be done in school or sent home? And how it supports your weekly theme. Now, when you refer to the teacher's resource book, the learner's book page number will also be mentioned there, and you will know when to use the learner's book. Yes. So that's your step 4. And now let's look at step 5. There are also home links given in your teacher resource book, which is for again all the 3 curriculum areas. Next slide. And step 5, you will also repeat this planning for other subject areas. And of course, do not forget to plan your continuous provision and guided play, which is given for at the beginning of every curriculum area in your teacher resource book. Yeah. So,
May I
yeah.
quickly add here something,
Yes.
Greshma?
Yes.
As Greshma rightly mentioned, for communication and language, you have 3 activities every week. For mathematics, you have 3 activities. There are certainly some weeks in the beginning of EY1 where you might find 2 activities, but nevertheless, you will find more or less 3 activities in every week. And apart from that, 4 curriculum areas, as already mentioned in the beginning by Greshma, that are covered under Let's Explore. So Let's Explore has 3 activities every week, which may suffice to all the 4 curriculum areas, whereas you will find cross-curricular links across all the resources, all the curriculum areas. There would be cross-curricular link where you are doing English activity and you might find something which is relevant or which is supporting to the another curriculum framework or the learning objective of mathematics or emotional development or physical development. So that will go hand in hand. But yes, uh, make it very noticeable that Let's Explore has 4 curriculum areas where you have 3 activities every week. Yeah.
Yes. Thank
Over
you
to
so
you.
much, Ms. Ruchi. So, so some of you might prefer to plan a full week in advance. Others may take it day by day, depending on your setting. So that's perfectly fine. This structure is flexible to support your style or your school. Okay. Also remember, communication and language does not include phonics or handwriting. So you can continue using your existing schemes for that. Okay, so right now what we covered was a lesson plan walkthrough, how to do the lesson planning. So let's go back to RAG and tell me, how did you find it? Were you, if give me green if you were able to understand uh, how to plan and how it is easy to plan a lesson because everything is provided to you. Give me a red heart if you still have any queries, and Amber to let me know that this is something new information. So, uh, something that I want you to take away here is you always start with teaching resource, then you go to learner's book, right? And then you also look at the downloadable resources available on
I think
Cambridge
Miss
Book.
Sugandhika want to
Sugandhika,
ask
yes.
something. She's raised hand and unmuted. Yes. Yes,
Sugandhika,
Miss Sugandhika. Is it by mistake, Miss Sugandhika? Because your hand is also raised and you were unmuted. Okay. I think it's gone down now. So
okay.
you may continue.
Yes, let's go on to the next slide. Now, like we mentioned in the beginning, we'll also look at how you can develop your professional practice and also improve learners' classroom experiences. Yes, next slide, please. So, professional development, this workshop has focused on understanding how to use the Cambridge print and digital published resources very effectively. This is not a professional development, as it does not focus on improving your classroom practice. So professional development is all about improving your skills, your competencies, and keeping up, most importantly, with the latest approaches to learning and teaching. So teacher PD is a very structured, facilitated activity for teachers, which is intended to increase their teaching ability. So the focus of the speed of the PDs is on teaching ability and is intended to include a broad range of skills, including instruction, classroom management, assessment, and lesson planning. Next slide, please. So, this slide is a powerful reminder that the ultimate goal of all professional development is to improve student learning outcomes. But it doesn't start with student, it starts with us. So, let's look at each one of them. So, first is improving learning outcomes. It reveals a need for improving teaching performance. Next is professional development needs to improve teaching performance that leads to well designed training. Next is structured, carefully designed training leads to improved teacher ability. So when training is very targeted and very relevant, it helps teachers gain new strategies, tools, and techniques. It's also about updating teachers' ability, that leads to greater teacher confidence, because you need to look confident in front of your learners. The professional development also improves teacher confidence, which leads to better learning activities. Then, next is learner centered activities lead to greater engagement. Greater engagement leads to better learning. And finally, it improves student learning outcomes. So that's the whole process. And we also have a course which is called Preparing to Teach from Cambridge. This is a course that is built around Cambridge University Press resources. It develops classroom skills and knowledge and how to use these resources effectively to improve learner engagement. And it is aimed at developing senior teachers, head of department, subject leads who can go back and train their teachers in the school. Now, preparing to teach from Cambridge, what it the course in the course it improves the knowledge of resource structure and activities. It shares this knowledge to department teachers. The teachers' practice improves and they can gain confidence, and improved practice leads to improved student learning outcomes. Now, apart from yeah, I think we can okay. So apart from the PTT course that we have, we also have the first green box that you see, getting started with play-based learning in early years. It is a free self-study guide for early years practitioners and leaders, which I gave initially. I gave a QR code. You can also get in touch with the team if you want access to these resources. Then we have getting to know Cambridge early years. These are free webinars for early years practitioners and leaders to understand play-based learning, how to set early years environment. All of these webinars are conducted by Cambridge University Press and Assessment. And then there is orientation. Again, it is free webinar for early years and practitioners using Cambridge teaching resources and learners book. Have you seen Cambridge Go website? Like, do you want me to take you through the Cambridge Go website? Okay, I'll just finish the slide and then we can look at it. Introduction. So there are different levels in PD. So introduction has face-to-face, virtual, or online course for practitioners that are new to Cambridge early years. And then the second level, they focus on creating an effective learning environment. This is also a virtual course for early years practitioners implementing Cambridge early years. The third is assessment for learning in earliers, which are virtual workshops for earliers teachers. And of course, like I mentioned, there is preparing to teach. And we also have Cambridge PDQs, which is a certificate and diploma in earliers and earliers good practice. Yeah, I would request Miss Ruchi to help me with the Cambridge Go website.
So, okay. So are we done, or do you want to continue or have anything else also to be done? That's it?
Uh, I think that's it. We have just the uh, feedback form now.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Ms. Greshma, for delivering this much session very successfully.
Thank you.
And now I'll just quickly take you through Cambridge Go, which is our portal on, uh, which is a web portal, and you can access that on even mobile app, right? I'll just share my screen to show you how you can access it. I hope my screen is visible to all. Do
Uh,
let me know if it is not visible.
Now, yes.
Okay, so since I've just opened a simple search engine, just type Cambridge Go over here, and you will see the sites popping up on the screen where you can click on the first link also, or maybe on the login page. So make sure as an EY teacher, all of you should register yourself with your official email ID on Cambridge Go and join your school. So for that, school admin ID should also have got it created on Cambridge Go as a school ID, school account, right? And once you have logged in with your account, say for example, I'm logging in with my account. So to create this account also, you can just, create a teacher account, just click on this and you can create your account. And it asks you basic, simple 5 questions for creating any login account on simple websites. So not very complex. It's very simple, 4, 5 questions, basics. So I'm just logging in to my Cambridge Go account. And once we log in, we will join a school. So to join a school, you just click on this teacher and join a school. Click on it. And your school admin, whosoever has got it created, will share maybe a joining link or joining code. So to join a school, either you type the school code, then you can just click on continue and join. That has to be shared with you by your school, right? Whosoever has a school admin ID. So it's for all the school heads or school admin people, those who are creating the school support hub, Cambridge account, where they are having all the teachers onboarded on a school support hub. Same ID is to be used here, and then get all the teachers added there to access all these EY resources. So to have them added, you can click add new resources, right? Activate resources with codes. Whereas you might have site license, so you can just click and add as in site license, right? So 16-digit code that would be provided to you, you can activate it from there. Now, once you activate, you will have all these resources, Cambridge Earliest 1, Cambridge Earliest 2, Cambridge Earliest 3. These three will be seen to you once you join a school where they have activated the account. Now, once you click on EY 1, 2, 3, any one of them, you will see digital teaching guide, stories, videos, audios, and slideshows, and downloadable. These three sections will be visible to you on Cambridge Go website. Just by clicking on this, digital teaching guide will be open. The one which was shown by Ms. Greshma in the print format, as well as the screenshots, a lot many from the same digital content, right? So I'm just going to showcase how it looks like when you are on the digital platform and how easy to navigate this particular digital teaching guide. So click on the left corner content, and then you can see from here title page, content introduction, about the author, how to use this teaching resource overall, what are the approaches of teaching learning, setting up for success, like how would you proceed with it, and then introduction to different curriculum areas. Now then bifurcation of all the blocks. So block 1, all about me. And then as each block is divided into 5 weeks, week-wise explanation is given. You can just click on any of the week you want to look into, and the learner's book block, like whether it is communication language you're looking for, mathematics, or let's explore of this particular week. Just to repeat once again, let's explore resources support 4 curriculum areas, which are creative expression, personal, social, and emotional development, physical development, and understanding the world, right? Likewise, again for week 2. So just by this, I'm just clicking on this week 2 and making it full screen. So for you to understand how does it look like when you see it full screen, right? So week 2, here you can see week 2, block 1, all about me. So this, from this particular screenshot, you can see communication and language, week 2, and the topic is our senses. Then what are the activities that is also given here? Continuous provision and guided play, and the explanation, right? So very quickly navigable, and you can bookmark the page you want to look into later also, right? You can further operate. All the digital components are inbuilt in that. Now, apart from that, downloadables, I'm sure everybody is more concerned about what are the downloadables and where are the worksheets and curriculum correlation charts. So they are all here. So just to help you understand how actually the entire learning objectives getting mapped into each block, and in each block, how many days or which particular days a curriculum framework or the learning objective is being covered. They are all given in these 3 charts, which are available for all 3 stages. Planning your template for lesson plan and your short-term plan template, and one example of long-term plan is given here. You can download and utilize that to make your other plans. Letter for the parents, as there were 2 types of letter for the parents which was shown on the screen by Ms. Greshma. One was the letter for the parent, which is like term wise, block 1 and 2 1 letter, block 3 and 4 1 letter, and block 5 and 6, which is again in the Word format. You can modify them. And the other than that is in the home links, which is there on your teaching resource in the end of every week's plan. So I'm just showing you last page of this. Sorry. So last page of week 2, you can see home links on my screen, right? Which you see even in the digital teaching guide. That's not downloadable. Again, you can modify. So here you are seeing it's week 2 ending and week 3 starting. So home link is always given on the last in the end of every week plan. Apart from that, you have song lyrics PDFs here, block wise for Let's Explore and communication and language. The activity sheets, again, term wise, they are also given here, right? If you want to download all of them together, that is also possible. And if one by one, that's also your choice. Going into, let's say maybe in EY2, as we've not seen now the songs, lyrics, and how does it look like? Stories, videos, audios, and slideshows. So stories also in 2 formats, all in the PDF format, right? These are apart from the learner's book. These are separate stories. Then let's explore slideshows. So to build in the concepts of which are covered in the Let's Explore, maybe physical development, personal, social, emotional development, or understanding the world, or creative expression, any concepts related to them are being covered in these slideshows. Audios of the songs, right? And then communication and language story videos. So these are also all in the downloadable format. You can download them well in advance and keep them ready for your everyday plan. Right? That's all about the downloadables. And just to make sure, once again, for every term for EY1, you have 3 resources. So for EY1, for the entire year, you have 3 resources. EY1 1A is for term 1, which will serve block 1 and 2. Then 1B will be serving block 3 and 4. Likewise, term 3 will be serving like 1C for block 5 and 6. Similarly, for EY 2 and 3, They will also have 2A, B, C, but you would have more resources because the subject areas are having more support. Like for communication and language, as the color code was given, you will have as per your choice whether you are picking up FLE or ESL. So the similar color will have 2A communication and language, 2B communication and language, 2C communication and language, like that. So three for each. One is for let's explore, one is for mathematics, one is for communication and language will be serving for one particular term for EY2 and EY3, right? So this is all from our side. Please let us know if you have any questions regarding Cambridge Go or understanding the resources, insight of it. Do let us know. Feel free to reach out to us and make sure your schools are all onboarded on Cambridge Go and you have enrolled yourself as a teacher on Cambridge Go. Join your school on Cambridge Go, like be part of that to access all these resources, because these plethora of resources will make your life way more easier because it's all planned, all structured. I would recommend, rather than investing your more time in planning and researching on this, spend more quality time with your learners in the classroom so that you're not wasting your time in planning there. These are all well researched and worked upon and experienced across the globe. So that's all from my side. And Ms. Greshma, if you would like to add something.
I think we have two. Can we go back to the presentations? The last two
Yeah,
slides
Miss.
have QR codes.
Sure. Miss Ishani, would you like to share the screen? Though I'm sharing the feedback link in the chat box also, so that it's easier if you're already attending over the phone. Yeah.
Yes, and any questions about whatever we uh, went through today, the curriculum, pedagogy, resources, we are open to questions.
Would you like to talk about this QR code, what it is for?
Yes. So, the Cambridge, if you want to access the Cambridge University Press website and go through the professional development options, this is one QR code that you can that you can scan. You can just take a picture and keep it in your gallery for now and then access it later. Yeah, Cambridge Assessment International Education website. Here also, there are a lot of professional development courses and the professional development qualifications. So, which you can go through it and you can either type in or scan the QR code. I think
Ishani, press it once again to forward because there would be harm.
yes. So you can scan it or take a picture and later on you can access it.
This scan code will actually take you directly to the PD page, professional development page of Cambridge, and where you will have all the ongoing calendar or the updated calendar for the next academic year as well. As soon as it's live, it will be all here. So events here will help you to register yourself, whereas there are options which with which you can either book it from your credit card directly, or you can get it through your school and get it the school PD paid by school. So both the options are possible. No need to hesitate for any questions. We all understand it's a very first time you all are going to start with early years of Cambridge curriculum. And if at all you've been already using and you still find it challenging, or any specific concern you are going through, feel free to share with us. We'll try to resolve or maybe share with you whatever best possible solutions in the coming time. Okay, since there are no more questions in the chat box, I have already put the feedback form link in the chat box. Please feel free to fill the feedback form. You already know your trainer's name is reflected on the screen, Miss Greshma Momaya, and do let us know if there were any challenges you found. Yeah. Thanks, Miss Greshma.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Ruchi, Ms. Ishani, for supporting. Yeah. I hope everyone is able to fill the form and submit
Yeah.
the form.
And if once you fill the form, please put thumbs up or let us know like if you're done. You can chat, put in chat also if you have any questions, if you are feeling shy in sharing it live on the screen or speaking it up. Whereas nobody's going to judge you, trust me, because we all do start somewhere or the other. And even the school management would understand, if at all they are also part of the session, that we are all in the learning phase. Any smallest questions would be appreciated if you have any concerns related to that. For your region, if you want to reach out for accessibility of these resources, reach out to Ms. Geeta Kumarajan or Dhananjay if at all you want to, have more clarity about it. So once you fill the form, please put thumbs up or say yes, and then you can leave the session if it's done. Can you please clarify what is meant by 1A, 1B, likewise in the learner's book? Okay. So 1A is for block 1 in EY 1, which will be covering, so 1A is for term 1, which will be covering your block A and block B. Then 1B is for term, second term basically, which will cover block 3 and 4. Similarly, 1C will cover block 5 and 6. Yeah. So Ms. Dhananjay is also there. He's very kindly written his email ID also for any kind of questions related to the resources, syllabus. Please feel free to reach out to him. He is your regional rep who is easily accessible, approachable, and very kind. I hope I'm able to answer your question, Prageet, if I'm calling out your name correctly. Pardon me if it's wrong pronunciation. As I said, in EY2, you will have 2A for communication and language. That is for block 1 and 2. 2B for again next term for communication and language only. 2C is for the third term for communication and language. Similarly, you will have it for mathematics, and let's explore as well. So at one point of time, EY1, you will use one resource, and EY2 and EY3, you will have 3 resources simultaneously running in your classroom. But my simple request, do not start teaching straight from the learner's book. You're not there to finish the learner's book. It's okay to not touch, not finish the book every week. Just follow the teaching resource or focus on your learning objectives from the curriculum framework. That's more important. Any more questions? We'll wait for 1 more minute and then we can end the session for the day. Thanks a lot for this question. I'm sure, Ms. Prageet, this might be answering many other questions people might be having but not asking. So thanks a lot. I've shared the feedback link once again, and I could really find some interesting discussion in the chat box when you were talking about what kind of play child initiated play and what all can be put up in the classroom area to make it more interactive and construction like continuous provision areas. Thank you, Ms. Janani Mohan. Thanks a lot, Ms. Navanita, Ms. Dishani. Thanks for joining us for today's session. I hope it's making sense for all of you. Thank you, Ms. Manju.
My name is Greshma Momaya. It's there on my screen.
I'm typing it here also.
Thank you, Ms. Ruchi.
Thanks, Ms. Shashini, Faustina. Thanks, Ms. Minel. Thanks, Lamrat. Thanks, Kamali. Thanks, Udeshika. Thank you once again. Thanks, Sitara. Thanks, Netmi. I hope you all have filled the feedback form. Your participation certificate will be shared on your registered email ID or all on your feedback form link, email ID, whichever you're filling in. I hope you all are typing the correct email ID. Thanks a lot for sending that to us. Thanks, Ms. Prakashini. Thank you. So I hope you all have the feedback form link and we can end the session now. Dhananjay, if you are there, should we end the session now? I hope since there are no more questions.